Jeremiah chapter 12 and verse 9. Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. I want to give all praises and glory to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Yasharahla, and salutation to the Ahchyam throughout the four corners of the earth, preaching the truth and sincerity, and keeping the faith of Yahawashi and the gospel. This is Yasharahla. Just going into a brief series that are planning on starting through the spirit, basically on the confusion of faces, and just kind of going into different, case studies of this. And basically, for this one, just gonna kind of go into, just a couple, that I seen, pretty much, you just kind of just on different websites like the Daily Mail, you'll probably see different news on there. Of course, you get worldwide news, but then you also get entertainment news and things that's going on, out in that world as well. And I seen, basically a picture of, Cash Warren, who is the husband of Jessica Alba. And of course, in Jessica Alba, just kind of going into their history, their background or whatever, and noticing that basically, they had a couple of kids, which, I'll show later on in the lesson. But basically, just is kind of just more edification, just to show, how diverse Israel is in terms of looks. All right. And basically getting a better understanding that, how much more spiritual we have to continue to be. Of course, we know about brothers coming into the fold from, all over the world as of right now. And it's a beautiful thing. But also at the same time, we got to understand that the elect still needs to be sealed. And it's very important that we continue to stress the importance of the spiritual aspect of this thing of ours. That basically, Israel is going to look like the rest of the world, especially as of right now. Okay. So the thing about it with this one is just to kind of show, just on a level in this series, Abba Rataz, I'll be able to continue it, just the different types of people, all right, that we have, amongst our nation. Okay. Now, when we go into this information, concerning, Cash Warren, his father actually is Michael Warren, who was an actor. He was an actor in a show called The Hill Street Blues. And he played a police officer in that show, but also he was a college basketball star as well. Okay. Now if you see here on the right side, it shows that, he was married. I don't know about the wife. I'll see if I can find the picture of his wife and put it in post-production if I find it. But basically, it shows here that he has a son by the name of Cash Warren. And when you go into the history of him, he played with Lou Alcindor, who later became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, all right, for brothers that don't know. But basically, he was a big-time college basketball player, all right? He was All-American in '68, it says. He was also All-Tournament as well. He was All-State for the state of in the state of Indiana during high school. So pretty much, he was a known to get it in on the basketball court. And of course, he was definitely a Jake, okay? Now, the reason why I'm kind of bringing this up is because when you look at his son, all right, Cash Warren, I mean, he looks like an Issacharite, okay? He would look like, a so-called Mexican or someone of the Northern Kingdom, okay? Now, the thing about it is that shows you just even on a level, just how even within one generation, how someone can change in looks, but their line still goes back to their father. All right, it's not about how they look. All right, you got a lot of people out here that are very carnal, and they basically doing paper bag tests. They're doing hair texture tests to basically say whether or not you're an Israelite, right? Because they're completely carnal and don't have any means of understanding. That was one of the reasons why through the Spirit did that lesson on the physical diversity among Israel, which I'll put in the down in the description box to kind of show exactly how Israel, became as diverse as it became in terms of looks, okay, as it is this day, okay. And now just showing even on an increasing level, just some of the different examples, with some people that are out there, in the celebrity world, because a lot of times those are very good examples to use because people know about them, they're able to kind of follow them. They kind of are familiar with them already. So that's the reason why I'm using this couple as an example. All right. Now, kind of go into Jessica Alba. And of course, people know about her. If she hasn't probably done that many movies recently. Depending if you're a younger brother, you might not maybe know much about her. But if you're someone who's a little bit older, you're gonna know a little bit about Jessica Alba. All right, now kind of going into her background, reading here, it says Alba was born in Sonoma, California to Catherine and Mark David Alba. Her mother, okay, now remember the mother's line, it doesn't matter. Okay, the mother's line doesn't matter. This is something that a lot of, pro-black Israelites, they really believe that the mother has a major influence on whether or not you're an Israelite, because they still are in the Queen of Heaven worship. They basically worship the woman, right? Because this is a lot of that vibration comes from the whole Babylonian worship of the mother, which goes back to Semiramis and Tammuz. So that's the reason why they can't get this on that level. Okay, now it says her mother was Danish, has Danish, Welsh, German, English, and French Canadian ancestry. Okay, while her paternal grandparents, who were born in California, were both the children of Mexican immigrants. Okay, so you already know that they were coming here for work. You already know what Issachar is about. Okay, and so that was on her paternal side. And the crazy thing about it is there's actually a video with Jessica Alba talking to George Lopez back when he had the George Lopez show, which the DNA testing stuff that he did, a lot of that was fake. They came out with the information about how that DNA testing was made up, which a lot of the people didn't really know about, but they were making up a lot of that stuff. And they basically did a DNA test, basically on George Lopez show, he does DNA testing on all these different celebrities that come in and tells them all these crazy information that they're this percent this and that. A lot of that stuff was fabricated, come to find out. But some of the celebrities really thought that it was really real. Okay, so when Jessica Alba went up there, she already knew her background, but especially, and when she was told that supposedly she had all this so-called European blood, all right, or white blood, she was upset. And the reason why she was upset, and a lot of people got upset at her reaction when she was upset that she wasn't more native blood, all right, but they don't know her background as well. But the reason why she was upset, because she knows deep down inside that she's not an Edomite. That's the reason why she was upset. So when they told her that, she wasn't really vibing with that. Okay, and you had a lot of people in the YouTube comment boards, man, and that were kind of like, man, why is she upset? Why does she want to be native? She's European, saying all kinds of stuff. But see, we don't deal with that DNA. Okay, we deal with the spirit on this side. All right, and the spirit of the word as it pertains to the law. Okay, so kind of going into the law just for the sake of this situation with Jessica Alba, just going into it, just these are simple scriptures, and these are things that just brothers just need to know about, especially if you're newly coming into the faith, any sisters that are also watching, that you have a good understanding of this. And then also, just as a disclaimer, just because if you believe in this truth, just because your parent is classified as a certain type of people, if you believe on Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, and you believe on the gospel that we're preaching and teaching, then the spirit beareth witness that you're an Israelite. All right, so this is just on a simplified level. I'm just kind of trying to break things down just for the sake of edification. Okay, now going into Numbers chapter 1 and verse 18, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers. Okay, so that's how you declare your house, by the house of your father. You don't declare it by your mother. There is no tribe of Dinah for a reason. Okay, because you cannot have a nation without the forefather being involved. That's the most important person. They don't even talk. That's the reason why when you go into Noah and his 3 sons, they don't even name his daughters. They don't even name his daughter-in-laws. No one knows the names of the wives of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. No one knows it. All they know about is Noah and his 3 sons. right? Because those men continued their lines and the nations that came out of them. I mean, it's plain and simple and understood multiple times in the scriptures, but you got people out here talking about other, basically someone is not of our nation if their mother is of another nation, having no understanding of the scriptures and the history, which we can go into, but for the sake of this one, just kind of want to keep it brief, okay? So the reason why I'm kind of also bringing this up with Jessica Alba and Cash Warren in this particular example is because of their daughters. Okay, now when you look at their daughters, you can see in the pictures that the oldest daughter, you can kind of see she kind of takes after her mom a little bit, and she, you could probably think she could probably pass, for Northern Kingdom. Now remember, Cash Warren's father is a so-called American Negro, all right, which would technically classify him as a Judite. All right, so that means that because just based on this law, when you look at Jessica Alba's daughters, they would be classified as Judites. Just think about that. Now you look at the oldest daughter, look at the younger daughter, okay? You can see that it's very easy why the younger daughter would end up looking the way she does. Now, if this daughter was of age walking around, let's say this daughter was walking around and was an adult, was walking past the camp, and you see her, she's got a paler colored skin, all right, and she has this red hair, you got a lot of people that would automatically, just based on judging according to the flesh, that would think she's an Edomite, not realizing that she's a Judite and her grandfather is a so-called American Negro and looks like it. Okay, so that shows you just how deep this thing is. Just as an example, if she was of age, I'll put the picture in post-production just to give you an example of maybe how if she looked a certain way by the time she was like in her 20s or whatever, or in her late teens, and all of a sudden now you have this person, all right, walking down the camp or wanting to believe in the truth or whatever, just as an example, and someone who's not spiritually discerned and doesn't understand that that these are the type of situations that are out here. All right, this is the real type of things that's going on, and this is just in 1-2 generations. I mean, her grandfather's still alive, for crying out loud. So you can imagine how much more when you're talking about hundreds of years, thousands of years down the line for different groups of people. Imagine if Cash Warren, okay, and Jessica Alba was around during the time of the Roman Empire, and they had sons, and they had a son that looked like the daughter, and that son went and got with an Edomite, and you had kids and kept going down the line. Before you know it, I mean, you're not even going to know the difference. You're not going to be able to look physically and say, man, he's got, or he or she looks like an Israelite based on such and such feature, when that's been so long ago. But that line, that remaining surviving seed line, according to the spirit of the law, shows you that, we'll say that person is an Israelite. So that just shows you just how deep this thing is when you really examine it just on a case-by-case basis. And that's the reason why, I wanted to kind of bring out this lesson, just so brothers will have a good understanding of how serious and quick things can change. And if you go over to different places around the world, you go to places like Europe, Jake been getting with Edomite women in Europe even before Jake was doing it here in Babylon. So you can imagine over there, and I'm pretty sure the brothers over there in Europe and over there in Europe can tell you, about examples like this where you got situations where someone's great grandfather on their paternal side is a so-called Negro, a Jake, from maybe the Caribbeans or from maybe West Africa or Central Africa or from the U.S., and they got their kids looking like straight up so-called white people now, their grandkids. Okay, so this is just one example, just alone already. Okay, so to kind of just finish off this lesson, this is 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 12. All right, now we have received not the spirit of the world, but the spirit which is of Yahawah, that we might know the things that are freely given to us of Yahawah. Okay, so this is the reason why we're able to know these things freely, because of the fact that we've been given the spirit of Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, not the spirit of this world, because the spirit of this world is going to go based on percentages, and just like you would see with Jessica Alba when they did the DNA testing and lies, and you got a lot of Jakes doing this 23andMe, all these different DNA testing. They're gonna do, I'm 50% this, I'm 50% that, I'm 25, 30% this and that. Most High doesn't deal with that. You're either one nation or you're another nation. There's no percentages we're dealing with right now. All right, this is exactly how it was within the law. Okay, so we've been freely given that understanding now. So going even further down, it says, which things also we speak, not in the words which man's wisdom teacheth. All right, because we speak these things about the confusion of face. We speak these things about that everybody's not going to look like your typical so-called Negro. Okay, that the nation of Israel is going to be variegated. All right, it's going to be like a speckled bird. Okay, so we speak these things that are in the spirit, not as the world teaches it. Okay, we don't teach under the world's wisdom, because by the wisdom of the world, they will tell you, well, look, you're 50% this. What about your mother? That's what the world would say. That's the wisdom of this world. You shouldn't disregard your mother. You're part of every part of your mother as you are your father. Those are the lies that Esau pushed out, knowing what the real truth is. Okay, to basically blind really 2/3 of our people that continue to hold to his doctrine and philosophy, even when they call themselves Israelites. All right, because they don't got the spirit of Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi to have an understanding. Okay. All right, going down. But the natural man receiveth not the things of the spirit of Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi. So they can't receive the things of the spirit. What's one of the things received of the spirit? Things written in the law. All right, things written in the prophets. They can't receive those things. Okay, for they are foolishness unto him. So when we talk these things and we show you pictures and examples based on the scriptures that this person is an Israelite at the end of the day, that's foolishness to them. They're laughing. They can't believe that the northern kingdom is the northern kingdom because they have no understanding. All right, they can't believe that someone can look like a so-called another nation can look like a so-called white person and still be an Israelite. That stuff goes right over their head. They can't understand that. That stuff is foolishness to them. They think we're the ones that's foolish, but guess what? Wisdom is justified by our children. They're the ones that's going to be foolish at the end of the day. Okay? It says, so neither can he know them because they are spiritually discerned. And that's plain and simple to the point. They don't got it, man. They don't got the juice. They don't got the spirit. Okay? And that's the reason why, through the spirit, we're going to continue bringing out these different lessons just to continue to further edify, different, cases out there and information that will continue to spring up, so again, hope brothers was edified with this topic, and kind of better understanding of just what it means to really remain spiritual in this thing and how, deep this thing really is, man, and how, you can really see just through just small examples here and there how Israel is as the sand of the sea, especially when you consider that Israel's not going to all look the same, right? So again, all praises and glory goes to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Yasharahla, and salutation to the Ahchyam throughout the four corners of the earth, preaching the truth and sincerity, and keeping the faith of Yahawashi and the gospel. Shalawam.